All right, hola, beautiful people. We are here today with our daily affirmations. Let's get right into it. I trust myself and my intuition. We have to learn how to trust ourselves. We have to learn how to stop doubting ourselves. If that's you, you need to stop doing that. Stop doubting yourself. God has given you everything that you need to survive. So stop doubting yourself. Have faith in yourself. Trust yourself. Now, the verse for the day is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths. The thought process behind that verse is that if you have enough of the Word in you and enough God in you, that you have nothing to worry about. You can trust yourself and your intuition. 9 times out of 10, if you had to listen to that inner voice or that gut feeling that you had in the beginning, you wouldn't be in that situation, or you wouldn't be in that relationship, or it wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. And you wouldn't have to go through all the stuff that you had to go through with in order to learn that lesson that was trying to be taught to you in the very beginning. A good song is "Listen to Your Heart" by Roxette. So I know for a fact if I had to listen to all those red flags and paid attention to them, but I just kept riding over them like speed bumps. I didn't pay attention to none of them. Now red flags for me. Don't call me queen or goddess or empress. That's a red flag for me because that's one thing my ex used to do. Instead of keeping up with all his women and all their names, he called us a different variation. He called us a queen or a goddess or an empress. And I felt like instead of calling us bae or sweetheart or hun or any of that stuff, he called us queens, goddess, and empresses. So that's a red flag for me. You have to figure out what the red flags are for you. Trust your gut, trust your intuition. Don't ignore them. Don't sweep it under the rug. If he's loud, if he yells at you, if he curses at you, if you catch him in lies all the time, you can make people prove things to you. You can ask them for proof. There's nothing wrong with that. One of the things that I'm learning about myself, I just had a therapy session today, is that because of I was raised by the older generation, and they don't believe that you're supposed to have a thought process of your own. You're just supposed to do stuff because they tell you to do it, because they say a lot of times. You ask them why, they say because I said so. And a lot of times, you might not even get to ask them why, because they might hit you if you say why this or why that. We weren't allowed to express our feelings or emotions about anything. We just had to do what we were told, do it how they said, like they said, no thought process behind it. You couldn't ask any questions, just had to do what you were told. So it may be difficult for us that were raised like that to be able to trust ourselves, because we weren't allowed to think for ourselves. But it may be a difficult process, but you can learn how to think for yourself, and you can stop that from happening to your children. You can give your children options. You can give them choices. Something as simple as getting to choose what color plate they eat out of, what color bowl, what color cup. You can let them choose. If you have juice, you can let them choose the flavor. You can give them opportunities to make their own decisions. That way, they can learn how to trust themselves and their intuition. It doesn't have to be a dictatorship. You can give them options. You can give them choices. There's nothing wrong with them having options and choices. They can choose red or blue. They can choose grape or strawberry. You can let them choose. And you have to give them room to change their mind. That's part of our problem, or our issue as adults, is we weren't given options. We were not given choices. So when you get into a relationship with a person that doesn't give you options and doesn't give you choices, it's normal to you. It's not normal to you to have ideas or thoughts of your own or have choices. So you accept that abuse from that person. You accept that narcissistic behavior, because that's how we were raised. It's like something that it was like out of our control. Like we didn't have control over anything. We didn't have say so over anything. We didn't get to choose where we ate, what we wore. We didn't get to choose those things as children. So you can stop that. You can break that cycle with your children. You can give them options, within reason, within limits. Like I give my children, like I'll give them maybe like three choices. Like if I say, do you want I don't know, peanut butter and jelly, and they say yeah, then I have literally fixed a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then they come back and change their mind and say, well, no, I didn't want jelly, I just wanted peanut butter. Oh, well, no, I didn't want crunchy, I wanted smooth. Like, it's okay. It is okay for them to change their mind. And if you think about it, That's where some of our issues stem from as adults. You get in a relationship with the person, and it's like it's a problem if you change your mind. Like, it's not a problem. A person has every right to change their mind. Like, you can trust yourself and your intuition, and you can change your mind. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you're doing it to your children, stop doing it. Give them options and choices within reason, within your limits. If your patience is not long enough for you to go through all that, then it's okay. You just work on your patience, because if you raise your child in a dictatorship, you're basically setting them up to be prey to a narcissist, or prey, or setting them up to be and it may not sound good, it may not make you happy to hear what I'm saying, but facts are facts. You have to look at this generation and look at how many people end up in abusive and toxic and narcissistic relationships. Just look at it. Even if you're talking about a job, or if you have family members, just think about it. It's because we've been taught to deal with that stuff and accept that stuff. But we gotta stop doing that. We have to learn how to trust ourselves and our intuition. Just because your family, like I'm actually dealing with that now. Actually, just because your family and everybody in your family does it, that don't mean that it's right or okay to do. Just because the whole generation did it, that don't mean that it's right or okay to do. Some of us, we were the first people in our family to go to college. Okay, so we're not going to go to college just because nobody else in the family went to college. So it's the same way with our eating habits, same way with how we discipline our children. Like, I'm doing a whole totally different approach when it comes to disciplining my children. But I'm trusting myself and my intuition, because I know how my childhood affected me. I know how I was raised affected me. And I'm not blaming anybody. As a parent, you have to do what works for you, and based on your knowledge and your understanding and your intuition. So my parents raised me to the best of their knowledge and to the best of their ability. So I'm not knocking anything that they did. They did what they thought was best. But what they thought was best for them was best for them. It wasn't always best for me. And that's just a fact. So same way with you and your children, you and your relationship. What works for you is not always what's best for somebody else. So you have to trust yourself and your intuition. So if you have the Bible or whatever it is that you use as a guide in your life, that is our guide for what's right and what's wrong, or good and evil. So you have to determine and you have to decide what works best for you and your household and your children, your relationship, etc., etc. So learn how to trust in yourself and your intuition. I know for a fact that if I don't give my children options and choices now, that I'm setting them up to be basically taken advantage of in whether it's a job or a relationship. Because I have boys, I'm raising men is what I'm raising. They have to learn how to have a voice and an opinion and a thought process of their own, and it has to start in my house. So it may make me uncomfortable. I may have to learn how to have more patience, but I have to teach them how to trust themselves and their intuition. Because if I don't teach them that now, they're never going to be able to lead a household or lead a family or be a man, and stand flat-footed and, be able to stand up for anything. They have to learn how to trust themselves and their intuition. So in teaching them, I'm also learning how to trust myself and my intuition as well, because they ask a lot of questions and they expect answers. So I have to learn and I have to research and I have to Google stuff too. So I have to learn how to trust myself too. So don't ignore those red flags. Don't ignore all those things that make you ask questions. Ask the questions. Demand answers, because you trust yourself and your intuition. Sometimes you need a question answered so you can learn how to trust yourself even more. So if you have a doubt or a gut feeling about something, make them prove it to you. So we're single moms, we're single parents. We have our children. We have to look out for ourselves and we have to look out for our children. So trust yourself, trust your intuition. We got this. Have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself. We got this. Take it one day at a time, one moment at a time, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time. Thank you for listening. Y'all, stay tuned for the next episode.